Oh, sheesh.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yes, it is. Oh, Ahmad Rashad.
Yes, sir.
How we doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing really good. Man, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out and come hang out for a minute.
Absolutely. I'm glad to be here. I feel like, we're just in your living room chilling.
I know it, man, but it's still going to cost you a couple strokes whenever we play.
Absolutely. That needs to happen.
Because I was just reading that you're a +1.
Unfortunately, that's what the handicap says right now. But I don't know, like in-season handicap versus out-of-season summertime handicap. That's two different things. Like if I show up right now, I need a little grace. You playing a lot, by the way, on the course?
I have not played. I got busy. One of them things where I planned on playing more. I had my knee replaced. I haven't had a chance, but give me like 3 weeks. I'm getting back on it.
Absolutely.
Are we ready? Okay. Ready? Ranking the greatest players from the National Basketball Association's first 75 years is no easy task. At the highest level, there are those who literally changed the game. Now in his 14th NBA season, Steph Curry is considered by many to be the greatest shooter of all time.
Steph Curry drills another three.
With limitless range and an uncanny ability to make big shots in the biggest moments, Steph launched a revolution.
Curry steps back. Bang!
Today I get to spend a little time with a four-time NBA champion and the all-time three-point king who's never been shy about letting it fly.
Steph Curry!
That's the greatest three-point shooter the game has ever seen.
It's all coming up next on NBA Rewind with Ahmad Rashad. Steph, it is so good to see you, man. And it's one of these things we're just going to sit back and just kick it around for a minute. Not like I'm not interviewing you. We're going to just have a conversation about basketball and life and maybe a little golf. Is that cool?
Absolutely. That sounds good with me. I know this is your wheelhouse. This is your repertoire. I've been doing it, 32 years on this format? Probably longer than that. Not trying to date you. I'm trying to give you respect. See, that's what it is.
I certainly understand that, man, but I can't figure. I haven't been doing it 32 years because I'm only 39. So, but when you talk about blue and playing back in those days, did you ever imagine that you would take your career to the point that it is now? I mean, because I look back at things and I say, okay, coming out of high school, I read somewhere that you didn't have no college gave you any sort of, scholarship or anything like that, which sounds just crazy to me if they see what you're doing now.
It does sound crazy. I feel like, so every kid has a dream, right? Every kid, when you pick up a basketball, whether it's, you start playing sports, whatever it is, you start understanding what you're passionate about, what you want to work at. Like, you dream about being the best at whatever that is. Like, of course, I thought about, like, all right, I'd love to be the one, like, knocking down the game-winning shots, winning championships and all that, but it's past my wildest imaginations of what's happened and how amazing these experiences have been, over the last, 14 years of my career and hopefully more to come.
Those things that I look at my career as an athlete, that there was a time I remember reading in my hometown paper that they had this little thing in the paper saying that I would never make it as a pro. They said this guy, he could run, he can do all this kind of stuff, but the pros don't think he's ever make it. I use that as inspiration for the rest of my life. I have it on the wall in there, the big old yellow piece of paper, and then I would think back, the paper turned yellow, so I would think back every time I walked by, it was like, you know what? This is inspirational, because when I read that, I went, I'm going to make them wrong. Did you kind of go through the same thing like that?
There's, obviously, when I got to the draft, there was I believe it was Doug Gottlieb, and I named him just because it was one that still rings true to me. It was a tweet. There was a tweet he made about where I ranked in all the point guards in the draft class and who had the most upside, and I was like way at the bottom of the list. When you look back, obviously feeling counted out, feeling like, nobody really understood who I was as a player, and all the criticism and all that type of stuff throughout my journey. Like, you hear it all, you internalize it, you use it as motivation, inspiration. I might need to get to your level where I put it on the wall. Though. I like that actually. I like that.
I mean, and it's just some days I just kind of walk by and I see it there. So now I know what you're doing when I see you do something great and there's an exclamation point in your attitude. I know now that you're saying, Doug gotta leave. How about that?
100%. The mannerisms and the joy you play with, like there's being in the moment and just enjoying myself to the fullest, and then there's also that killer instinct that comes out. It does not necessarily have to be words or whatever, but it's a demeanor, it's a confidence, it's a form of self-expression out there on the floor. So I know it doesn't vibe with everybody, especially if you're on the other team, but I rock with it.
That's another thing I wanted to try to kick it around with, because you have so much enjoyment when you play. It's another, and as we just talked, I remember how a guy came by me one time and said, you got to be happy in your work. Be happy in your work. And he was talking when I was playing ball, he says, be happy in your work. And I felt like every time I watch you, you're happy in your work. The things that you do, you are so entertaining, one of the greatest entertainers of all time in terms of somebody coming to watch you play. And the joy that I see that just almost bubbles out of you every single time that you play. Where did that come from?
I don't know, to be honest with you, because my basketball journey, when I was coming up, I was always the smallest, scrawniest kid on my teams. And I did have a goofy personality as a kid, but I didn't really get that much burn to express myself coming through the ranks, because until I was probably 12, 13, I was at least the 9th, 10th man on the team coming in. I was just whenever a team would run zone, they called me in because I could shoot them out the zone. Then as soon as they went back to man-to-man, I'd be back on the bench. So I guess I had all that bottled up for a long time, and then when you start to really understand how much I love the game of basketball, how much work I put in into my craft and all that, even through later in the high school ranks, that form of self-expression and joy came out. It's pretty natural. To your point, I do love what I do. I try to maintain that joy, and I think I've done a pretty good job of that throughout the years. Because in the summer times, the work that you put in, the unseen hours that everybody talks about, that's hard work. That's grueling hours and sweat and putting your body through test after test after test. So when you get into the games, that's where it's supposed to be the most fun, because you feel prepared for the moments. You feel like, everything that you've done has been catered and designed and intentional about, setting yourself up for success on the court. So then with that comes a level of freedom. It's not results based. It's just I'm happy to be out here, blessed to be out here playing this game. I know I'm out here for a reason, so I'm going to enjoy myself and have fun and smile and laugh, but still have a competitive spirit behind it. So that's it's kind of always been me, and I'm going to carry that till it's over.
And it also, it's where you're confident. I'm just saying, when I say this thing, I'm thinking of what I did when I was playing, and also, I think your confidence comes from there. Your confidence comes from all that hard work you did during the summertime, and you practice like you play.
Yeah.
Or you play like you practice. It's one of those kind of things. And if you've done something over and over and over again, it never surprises you. It might surprise somebody else, but you come to the point of expecting it. Does that work?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you still surprise yourself sometimes with the stuff that you do out there. I might need to practice my weird, goofy dance moves and all the other celebrations I do, because some of them I don't even know what I be doing. I need to choreograph them a little bit better, because I just be out there losing my mind. I feel like you almost black out. But a lot of it, to your point, is just the confidence that comes with it. These 48 minutes, only place I am is here. My mind is here. I'm enjoying the entertainment of basketball at the highest level. I'm enjoying the competition, the interaction with the fans, just the atmosphere, all that stuff. So then sometimes I gotta catch myself yo, what are you doing?
But I still think that's part of it. It's your expression. So I want you to take a look at the thing that we did a few years ago. I think it was 2016. I just want you to take a look at it and tell me what you think about it. Roll that tape.
One of the best pure shooters that I've seen, that I've played against, that I have witnessed.
Your jump shot is so beautiful, but I've never seen it written in prose.
That's not the way I have the other night when I was reading this. Let me just say what this dude. So I'm reading this, and it says, it goes like this. The ball rests on Curry's fingers. Off his palm, his thumbs form a T on the left side of the ball. His entire right arm, tucked tight to his ribs, continues to rise with near perfect 90-degree uniformity. Shoulder to elbow, elbow to wrist, wrist to fingertips. Like a waiter using a palm to carry a heavy tray of dishes back to the kitchen.
That's poetry right there.
It's
I don't
poetry.
even know if I can't visualize that. I'm like checking my form while you're reading it. I'm like, I don't know. It still sounds so beautiful and elegant. And the slow-mo and the ball, the spin of the ball. I need to add a line of poetry for my facial hair from 2016 and now. I'm really proud of that, but keep going.
Oh, man, when I saw that, man, I remember the moment, and it was so funny. But as we laughed about it then, it is so true. You know, and you've gone from there to, man, people start saying about the sky's the limit. It's further than the skies. You know, from that point now till now, you know, you got all the kind of championships in, you know, behind you and all those kinds of things. So that was, when I read that, when I saw that, it just brought back a warm moment that we really had a lot of fun laughing at that thing.
Absolutely. I feel like, to your point, I don't remember some of the vocab that was in that poem, but like there is a flow and just a freedom of movement and balance, and like the art to shooting is something that I've tried to perfect over time. And it's crazy. I still feel like I can get better in that department. Like I'm always trying to continue to tweak and evolve my game in that aspect. And you know, whatever, 6-7 years later, I'm still on that journey. So that is actually like kind of really motivating to know that there is another level that I think I can get to. Even, you know, kind of realizing everything that I've accomplished and that's happened since you dropped that you know, poetry on me.
You know, well, you know, the funny thing is it's just incredible that your mind is still at that point about getting better and continuing getting better. So you haven't stopped and start thinking about legacy. And that's what they do to most athletes. You play for a certain amount of time, then all of a sudden they start talking about legacy. As far as I'm concerned, you think about legacy after you've quit. Mm-hmm. Because if you start thinking about legacy while you're playing, you have quit.
Absolutely. And I feel like, you know, the challenge of every season is different, and it's so unique. Like, you know, you have a specific, you know, journey with each team that you play on. And like, I've obviously been with the Warriors my entire career. Even in these last 4 years, the dynamics around our team, the roster, you know, the introduction of these young guys that we have. Like every year is a different challenge in and of itself. So if you lock in on that and your personal, you know, journey of trying to just either add something to your game, become more efficient, like whatever goal that you realistically set for yourself, you get so contained and just kind of, you know, ingrained with what that is for you. Like there's nothing else that really matters outside of that. And so once you do start letting all those other stuff creep in, then I think, like you say, you lose a step, you lose a little bit of your competitive advantage, and I don't ever want to be doing that.
No, I mean, all you need to do is go back by that article by Gottlieb.
100%. I always got that in the back pocket. It's like we got old school. You got your pictures of your kids in your wallet. So I got a picture of all three of my kids, my wife, and then that letter from Doug Gottlieb.
Oh man! So now here's another thing we're going to talk about. Now, I saw some footage of you shooting a shot from all the way at the other end of the court, from one end to the other. Now, this is just between me and you, and nobody listening, the whole thing. I took a bet the other day that you actually really did it. So somebody's trying to tell me that they fixed it in post, and that wasn't really you. I said, no, now if it had been somebody else, I would have believed that. But that was Steph. Steph did make it 5 times, or however many times it was. Now that it's just me and you listening, can you help me out a little bit? Just Did you really do it?
So the fact that it is believable, the fact that I had the internet's kind of speculating all over the place on was it real, was it CGI, all that. All I'm gonna say is no, it wasn't real, but I did still shoot 40% in that one. I did make 2 of them, so I can verify that. But nah, it wasn't all 5. I was just having fun with it, and the fact that it's believable is the ultimate compliment to me. So I'm gonna take that and run with it.
So you did make 2 of the 5.
I did make 2 of them. So my arm was a little sore the next day because I did.
Those are the only ones that count.
Yeah, exactly. I did have to shoot all 5 of them though. But yeah, I'm gonna lay out the 94 footers for a while.
You know what it is, though? You're the only basketball player in the history of basketball that's open no matter where they're standing on the court. You're wide open. I don't care if you just took the ball in or if you're right underneath the basket. You're wide open.
I'll take that. That's what they say. You got to start guarding them in the parking lot. So
yeah, as soon as they get out the car. Hey, are there any other shooters that you've seen that have sort of blown you away, that you've been very impressed with?
I mean, I've seen one of them and rubbed shoulder to shoulder with him for the last 11 years now. So Clay, obviously, what he does night in, night out it's been a cool journey. We never really, I shouldn't say, 95% of the time we work out on our own, and we work out on either ends of the court, but we're always like out the corner of our eye looking to see what the other person's doing, seeing how hot they are, seeing how many they might have made in a row, seeing who's working the hardest, who's shooting the best, who's pushing the envelope every day, every practice, every game, and all that. And I have so much respect for him as a shooter and what he's done in his career. And then you look around, like my brothers, I think he's, out of me and him, all the Curry boys, my dad included, he has the highest career three-point percentage, so I'm still trying to catch him. And then you come into the league now, you just look at the top of the list of everybody who has the highest percentage. Desmond Bane's a guy that's shooting the ball at a high level, and has been, since he got into the league. It's wild just thinking about how the game has changed so much since I was a rookie, and even before. You got guys on teams that value the three, shoot the three at a high level, have added that to their game, and really prioritize that part of the game of basketball. And threes are going up from all over the place. So I wouldn't say that everybody should be shooting them, but that's the way the game's trending.
See, but that's your fault. You've done all these people. Back in the day, if you came off that bench and took a three-pointer, your ass was coming right back to the bench. But because you've been so successful, now everybody wants to do that.
I love it, though. I love people stretching their imagination and what they can do, and especially if you work at it. So, like, the thing about people blaming me for how the game of basketball is played, especially at the younger ages and younger levels,
yeah.
Like, I wasn't shooting like this when I was, 9, 10, 11, but I had the confidence that I could get there, but also the discipline and the patience to work at it. So I make sure everybody understands, yeah, you see the polished product of what we do at this level, what I've done in my career, but it didn't happen by accident. I don't know how many shots I've shot in my life. It's too many to count, but all those reps matter. And it's a daily discipline of showing up to the gym, finding that time to work on your craft. You can get there. I want everybody to be inspired to believe that they can get there, but like you say, you can't just roll out of bed, roll off the bench, and just start jacking them up and think it's just going to happen on its own.
So I want you to take look at another piece of tape we had, and I know this had a big influence on you. Just take a look at this piece of tape. I love this thing, actually.
Stephen, what are you going to be when you grow up?
A basketball player.
Boy, that's going to take a lot of hard work and practice. You got to study hard, too.
I know.
You got it, right?
I know.
We got to get you the right kind of ball.
All right. Hey, Dad.
Yeah?
How'd you get to be so big?
I guess I just grew that way.
What's it take to be a great basketball player like you?
Well, you really got to want it. You got to taste it. You got to be able to smell it. I mean, you really got to be hungry for it.
Dad, can we go to Burger King? I am really hungry.
Which works.
That's beautiful. That is a that is a beautiful thing. And it's like when you want to talk about, see, a lot of people don't know because as you
Ooh,
get,
I don't know why I ain't get the Oscar for that. Why did I get the Oscar for that? That's crazy. I delivered them lines.
you were good.
Nobody could have done that role but me. Nobody.
Without question. Without question. But, you know, I think a lot of people don't realize how good a shooter your father was. Your father was one of the best shooters to ever come through the NBA. I'm telling you. And he was nice, too. I mean, he had a nice style about him. He just throw it in your face and come on back. He may be, I think that might be where you got that shooting and turning around and running back down the court. Because I swear I've seen your father do that before. Just put it in your face and then turn around and turn.
We call him, well, I should say we call him, and he also calls himself the originator. So he makes sure it's known that anything me and my brother do on the court, like, yeah, he's done it before too. So he showed us the ropes. That commercial is hilarious because, to your point, that was in his prime. He was the sixth man of the year for the Charlotte Hornets. I believe it was '94. And they had the six-man ball, Burger King, and the whole deal. And that commercial was something. The family, they still got the tapes. They roll that out at all the reunions and all the holidays and throw that on and be like, yo, you came a long way. And hopefully my acting skills will come a long way too.
So let me tell you, here's what sounds good. So now how about the games at home? How old were you before you could beat him?
I was 13 when I beat him for the first time in one-on-one. He was retired at that point, so I had to wait till he truly hung him up on the court before I could really go get him. And he was the type of dad, he wasn't just going to let us win. At 13 was a big year for me. I beat him in one-on-one in the driveway, and also the first time I beat him in golf. So he wasn't too happy about the summer of 2001, 2002, somewhere in there.
So is that where all your confidence started to originate during that time in your life?
For sure, I think, like you said, just watching him play, going to games, understanding how the games play at the highest level. I don't know if I subconsciously picked up, stuff as well as going to the gym, just being around the game. But, like you said, he was the first one to tell us how much, it wasn't just, excellence in the game wasn't going to happen by accident. And, everything that we were going to experience in the game was going to be, earned and deserved by the work that we put in. So I feel like you have to earn the right to have that confidence when you're out there and be ready for the opportunities when they come, in games and as you try to climb the ladder. And it's got me to here and appreciative of that discipline and that work ethic because, like I said, I wasn't the most physically gifted at all at any level, so I needed that in my repertoire to find any type of success.
Steph, you are my main man now. I've been watching you for so long, and I told you that. I remember one time I texted you one time to tell you that Michael and I, Jordan and I, we argue about a lot of stuff. I mean, all sports. I don't care what it is, football, basketball, golf. We argue all the time about that. The one thing that we never argue about is that you are the best shooter that either one of us has ever seen, and probably the best shooter that the NBA has ever seen. And it's such a joy to watch you every single night. When you talk about the little silly dances and that whole thing, it just sends chills up and down my whole body watching you do it. Just fades and that runner in the lane where you throw the thing up and the big guy just barely misses his over his finger in the bed knowing he's pissed off. Can I say pissed off? So anyway, it's such a thing of beauty. It's just a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And I just want to thank you for all that entertainment that you've had and so much respect I have for you, not only as a basketball player, but also as a person.
I appreciate that. It means a lot to know people who know the game of basketball, know the history of basketball, can put that stamp of validation on. That's how I love the way I've approached the game and everything that I've gotten out of it, and hopefully there's more to come. But to be able to shoot the ball at the highest level, but then have all the other facets of my game that kind of keep me well-rounded and keep me, at the top like that, that's what it's all about. And You know, I'm grateful for, you know, every experience that I've had, every teammate that I've played with, and, you know, these championships that we've won. So it all goes into just being a hooper and loving what I do. And, you know, hopefully that don't change anytime soon.
What's the best piece of advice that you've ever gotten, and who gave it to you?
Probably Coach Bob McKillop at Davidson. It's very simple, but it's a great way to look at life, knowing that you're not always going to succeed. You're going to get hit in the mouth every once in a while, but it's always how you respond that matters. And so he would always tell us next play mentality. It's taken a lot to get to this point, and I've had a lot of failures along the way that I've learned from and been able to move on from and grow from with that next play mentality.
So Andy just told me to ask you this question. He don't realize you already answered it, but so when you hear it and say you already said it, just realize he already answered it early on. What did you just say, Andy? What's left?
That's funny. That is kicking it right there. We got Jones in right quick. Give it back to him, then ask, wait, what'd you say?
The question was, what's left? What's left? Anyone's been asking me what's left, what's next, even though we've already discussed that.
What's next for me? Hopefully winning some more championships and understanding that however I can extend my prime, some good things are going to happen, and that's the journey I'm on now.
Enjoying yourself and everything that you do is very important, and you have a lot of things to enjoy. And we got to get on that golf course at some point.
Absolutely. Appreciate you. Thanks for making this work, and yeah, we definitely got to do that. And I'm coming with my summer handicap with you. No, sorry, I'm coming with my in-season handicap. It ain't gonna be a plus nothing.
Steph, I really, really want to thank you, man, for joining us on NBA Rewind with me, Ahmad Rashad, because you are my main man.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
man.
Appreciate it, Ahmad. All the best.
All right, that's good. We're good?
That's a wrap.
All right, that's a wrap.